Oh, shit. I am tired. Another day of class down, and I am more tired today than I was yesterday. Although I'm finding out a lot about myself through going through these classes, and like the classes aren't about any of this, but I'm just really realizing a lot now that I'm like fully paying attention for a lot of different things while I'm going through some sort of a class. Like, I I am 95% sure that I am like very clearly autistic now, which is something that I've been really on the fence about, and like I will not say I 100% am until I get like an actual diagnosis. So I'm watching myself go through this, and like 95% of what I'm doing and thinking about is just trying to be presentable, right? Just like mimicking other people and the way that they do things and the way that they are uh working through things, such as like there were substantial parts of this class today to where like we were going through a book, and like in a lot of classes they have like little like questions at the end of the chapter and then going through and answering them like as a group, and I was seeing like how other people were presenting their answers, and then I was presenting my answers in the same way because I felt very awkward if I didn't do that. Like it felt almost like the way that I was answering them were subpar, right? And so I was constantly adjusting and trying to putting way more energy on trying to mimic how I presented my stuff than just answering the questions, because like it felt like if whenever I just did it naturally I didn't give enough information, or things like that. Things like where I found it, like how I found it, the information, and then like because to me like I would just provide essentially a brief synopsis instead of going in depth. But then sometimes like going in depth is what was like needed or preferred due to how the question was worded, and like so I would be sitting there dissecting the like each question and going, okay, do I need more or less information, and then I would be basing which like based off of the other people's answers, I'd be going, okay, so questions like this need more answer or need more words essentially, and ones like this need less. And yeah, it was just really, to me it was very, first off, like not even stressful, it's just tiring, and it's just enlightening for like myself, just really noticing all of this extra work that I'm putting in that I never, like whenever I was first going through school, that I never realized I was putting in. um and then it got me thinking a little bit about just like myself and kind of how my brain works. And then the next topic that my brain hit is like people say that I articulate things very, very well, right? And something else that I've realized that I've never been able to convey is the reason for that, right? Like a lot of the times I say, oh, it's because my mother needs a lot of explanation on a lot of different things, but I've also fully like realized that like so the voice, like my own voice inside my head, like whenever you're thinking to yourself, most people have the voice. I know some people don't, but whenever you're thinking to yourself, you like hear your own voice. That voice inside my head, um, I it I had a more like a better way of explaining it, and I lost it. But it's like how I'm doing these videos is how I sound in my own head. Like it's like I'm explaining it to somebody else. Like I'm not just like thinking it or like assuming that I know it is. It's like I am explaining it to someone. So like no matter what I'm doing, whatever's going on, whatever I am thinking, it is like I'm presenting it to somebody else, and I never assume that they know what's going on. So that's why a lot of the times whenever it comes to me talking and me explaining things, and it's why I'm really good at explaining things, it's because 24/7 my brain is already running 24/7, but also with it always running, it is always explaining it to somebody who doesn't know, which is I never realized that like until just like today, that like that's probably not how other people work. That's probably not how other brains function. Is that it's probably more of like, I don't want to say it. Actually, I don't even know. Like that's actually just a question of mine now. Is how do people's like how do they talk to themselves inside their own head? Is it direct? Like is it like the sun is bright, or that person sucks, or I don't like how this is, instead of mine how it's always like Well, the sun's yellow, and that's typically a brighter color, typically associated with like happiness and joy. Um, or instead of being like, well, that person sucks, it's gonna be like, well, I'm not a fan of that action. That action typically leads to this and this. And those actions typically are viewed this way by other people because I'm explaining it instead of just pointing it out most of the time. Most of the time, if I'm just like pointing something out, it's a joke, right? Most of the time, it's being like, well, that sucks, or hey, that's a big car. Um, Something like that, or like that's a nice color. Well, that's a nice color. Typically, that's with my fiance where I'm all like, hey, look at that, because she gets excited by certain colors sometimes. So, um, but yeah, I just huge. I'm gonna say learning opportunity, not just for like the subject that I'm studying, but also just like a case point for myself. Just like a, oh shit, is this what I've been like my whole fucking life? And I know this video is going to be very similar to yesterday's video, but I'm really learning a lot about myself here more than anything, and it's kind of not really mind breaking, but it's just like I've always been tired most of my life. Like at this point, if someone asks me how I'm doing, my answer is I'm tired. Like that is just whether I'm actually tired or not. It doesn't matter. Like that is my answer to to that lowball question. It's just I don't even think about it. That is just the response that comes out of my mouth is I'm tired because I've been tired for so long and I haven't fully realized just how much effort has been going into everything, right? Because like I can abstract this like from these classes. I can sit here and like I'm seeing how much extra effort I'm putting in to mimic other things and other people, and I'm kind of not drawing it back. I'm drawing conclusions, right? Because like I knew that I did it uh in other aspects, but now my question is how much do I do it, right? Cause like I already know like whenever I was like a teenager, right? We're talking like 13, 14, 15, something like that. Um I realized that I was a mimic to where like and even to this day like a lot of the words that I use, a lot of the phrases that I use come from somebody else or something else somewhere in time, right? I'm just a collage of random shit that I've liked throughout the years that I just keep referencing. Even though the reference is well gone, most people don't won't and can't understand where the reference is coming from, right? Like it's just like I'll say it in a very like specific tone to either mimic the way that whoever said it, or it'll just be a callback to something that no one else remembers, right? I wish that I could just like come up with a couple of them like right here, uh, but right now I can't. I mean, a lot of my greetings come from it. I'm remembering a couple now, like the "suh dude" that from a meme from forever and a half ago. Very specifically, I say that with one person because that person, well, I shouldn't say that. For the most part, it was with that one person. It's kind of leaked back into my greetings again because I've been talking to that person again. So it's just leaked back in. Um, Another one is "could you don't." And I know exactly who that came from because the first time it was said to me, I was gobsmacked. Like it was funny. It was so funny to me. I'm all like, that is just so wrong in so many levels, but I understand what you mean, and it's just wonderful. Cause like said in full seriousness, just could you don't? It's just all like, what? This is so wrong, but it's lovely. Um, and I can't think of any others right now. But like that's pretty much my entire personality, is just a collage of random things that I've liked throughout the years that I just didn't let go. Um, and most people like don't realize that, and I've now like me realizing it back then, and it was really hard for me back then because essentially I went, "Who am I?" Right? I mean, I'm still asking myself who I am to this day, but it's a different existential crisis nowadays compared to back then because back then it was more of a am I fake? Am I a real friend? Am I a real person? Does this and that? And like, yes, I am a real friend. I am a real person. I've figured out those answers, right? But yeah, it's just one of those learning, so much learning, realizing why I'm always fucking tired, why I've been tired for so long. And it's like I said, I'm not going to go around and just saying I am autistic. Until I am fully diagnosed, which will more than likely never happen because if you ever look into it, it costs so much money. And where I am located, where I live, there isn't anybody. Nobody does it. Like, I have to travel to Philadelphia, which is 3 hours away, to get diagnosed. Like, to actually get formally diagnosed. And it costs about 8 grand down there. So, and it's not like a one time thing, like a test. No, they have to visit you for multiple hours. Like, it is a the reason it costs $8,000 is it's not a one-time payment. It's every time they come out to see you, they come and see you for like 2 to 6 hours, and essentially they just watch how you interact with the world, and they need paid for each of those hours. And seeing how they're professionals that probably make $200 an hour, right there's where your fucking money's going. But especially with like Philadelphia rates, they're charging even more because it's a huge city. Um, and also they'd have to come up here, or I'd have to go down there. Either way, um, so is it actually going to happen? No, especially because at the same time, like I think it's well, maybe it's not well known, but it's known enough within the autistic community that having a diagnosis doesn't do anything for you. It literally does nothing. Um, because like jobs don't really treat you different. If anything, they're really like, oh, you're autistic, we don't want you. But like people don't treat you any different. There's no like unless you are a I can't remember what it's called. Uh, Tears is the word that's coming to my brain, but it's not tears. Like it's like different levels of autism essentially, and they really misrepresent everything. But there's two different categories that you can be level 1 to 3 on, and essentially you have to be a very low functioning autistic person, and then all it gets you is like an aid essentially. It doesn't help in any other way. So like if you are a high functioning autistic person, like it doesn't do anything for you. If anything, it's a label that can hinder you. And that's the issue. And like even me being, blue collar worker, me working in factories and doing shit like that, like yes, they're supposed to help you and they make sure that every person knows and goes through training saying, "Hey, if you have a disability or something like that, they have to help you and they can't what you call it? And they can't not disgrace. Disgrace isn't the right word. And they can't like hold you back or hold it against you, right? Because of you having these disabilities, but I've seen how it works in practice, right? People are still going to talk behind your back. People are still going to expect too much or too little of you. People are still going to say you're faking or that it doesn't exist or that you just need to try harder, right? That's just sadly how the world works. So at that point, looking at all of that, it's like, why would I waste my time and money? Especially because, like, we don't make enough money around here to pay 8 grand like that. Like just to throw a random, even if it's like the low end, like the lowest low end for it is still 2 grand, and that's a house payment for me. Like I can't, unless I am doing really well off. But even then, I'd rather invest it in something. Not even necessarily like crypto or stocks, but like I would much rather like put it into some sort of hobby of mine or into something that might give me a return um than something like that. Although I will say in all honesty, like it does bother me not having a diagnosis because I'd rather be told yes or no. Like either way, I'm okay with it, right? Because if it is just the fact that I just have ADHD, that's fine as long as I know that that's what all of this is, right? That there isn't something else with it, because now I can essentially say, yes, I know that all ADHD people are different and diverse, same with autistic people, but like now I know that this is all ADHD, right? That's what this is, and going forward, I essentially can be all like, okay, this is ADHD. It's not autism. Autistic people go through something different than what I'm going through, right? And if I do have autism, I'd be able to say, okay, this is ADHD and autism. Now I can understand, both ballparks. I can not mix and match, but like I can like dissect it and pull it apart and be like, okay, this is this, this is this. Um, and then more or less it's just to one to communicate more effectively, two so that I can kind of how do I say one piece things together. Like I can kind of sympathize. That's the big thing. Is like I want to be able to sympathize with different people and explain different things to different people, right? Such as if I have one who doesn't understand ADHD or autism, I can break it down and be like, hey, so this is what this does to me. This is what ADHD is doing to me. This is what autism is doing to me. Or maybe someone who doesn't know if they're one or the other, I can go, okay, so these are signs and traits of one or the other, and these are things that you can do to help navigate through these things. And I mean, but with those, the biggest thing is that like there's no cure. You're fucked. If you've got it, you've got it, bro. There's not gonna be some magical pill or vaccine or some training that's just gonna make it disappear. No, it's all of it, all of like the therapy and stuff like that is just learning to manage it all. And at that point, like on the internet, you can go find management tools for free, right? Go mix and match, try things, see if it works for you. If it does, keep doing it. If it doesn't, don't. Um, but that's a lot of it, right? That's that's what it is, and that's why like I find a lot of trouble justifying it. Along with at the same time, I don't I don't remember the exact term for it, but I have so much trouble just like well, one making phone calls, but that I was told that's ADHD. But like actually like not planning but actually like getting things set up right like right now even with like the training I'm currently doing and the job that I'm like currently training for like I need to set up so many appointments and I need to do so much like it's not extracurricular work but like things like oh I can't remember the words right now and the papers are downstairs unfortunate things like fingerprint screening, things like getting my physical done and a secondary physical and a tuberculosis test and all of these things. But like they all need like different appointments, right? Different schedule, different things that I need to schedule at different times and that's just I don't know why, but like just doing that is so difficult for me. Just like getting things planned like once once they're in my calendar and they're set up, it's fine because like then whenever the day comes, even if I don't want to do it, I can get myself up and go, okay, I can't reschedule. It is right now. I need to go do the thing. But it's the actually making like scheduling the appointments is so arduous for me for some reason, and I can't. I will never be able to understand why. Uh, my last not psychologist, my last therapist told me that I don't think it's executive dysfunction. I don't think that's the right thing. I think that they're kind of in the same vein, but I don't think that that's executive dysfunction. But either way, she said that that's part of ADHD. As a lot of people with ADHD struggle doing those things. Um, but my brain has finally stopped. It's finally not given me anything else to say. So I think we're gonna pause this, pause it, and go. Okay, I think we're done for the day. Yeah, it's finally just ran out of gas, sputtered, and shut off. So, I'm gonna say thank you to anyone who's watched this random rambling of mine. If you've made it this far, just thank you so much. I don't think anybody will, but I guess I'll see you next time, tomorrow, whenever. Yeah.